In this video, I'm going to discuss how to set up your sheet for your landscape details. The first thing you want to do is begin with a new CAD sheet or CAD base. In this video, I'm going to cover how to set up your landscape sheet for your details. First thing you're going to do is start with a new drawing. Currently, the drawing should be set up in decimal inches as far as the units are concerned. And the way that you can check is to simply type in units, press enter, and this dialog box will appear. Once you've confirmed that the units are decimal inches, go to your layout tab. From your layout tab, you now want to adjust your sheet to be a 24 by 36 document by right-clicking it and going to the Page Setup Manager. Within the manager, you'll have the opportunity to modify your layout, which is layout 1. So we'll select the modify. I'm going to select Adobe PDF as my plotter. If you don't have that option, DWG to PDF is another good option to use. The next thing to do is select ArcD and then also select your pin table and press OK and close. Now your sheet has been adjusted to 24 by 36 layout. The next thing you want to do is XREF your details. Sometimes details are their own separate file. Each detail are created separately, and when that is the case, sometimes it's good to go ahead and XREF them directly onto the sheet. However, for this project, the details are all on one file. So what I typically do is XREF them into model space and use the viewports to scale them onto my sheets. So I'll go to the model space tab and you can type in XREF to have the XREF dialog box show up, and then hover over the attached drawing and select it. You want to attach a DWG, which is your drawing, wherever your details are. And I'll select them, press OK. The reference type that I typically use is overlay instead of attaching it. And then also I uncheck scale and I uncheck the insertion point because I don't want to specify the scale on screen, and I also don't want to specify the insertion point. I'll allow it to go to 0, 0, 0 and press OK. Once they're in, I'll zoom out and take a look at the details that I have, and then I'll go back to layout 1. Here, I will adjust my viewport a little bit and actually zoom. I would actually zoom in. The first set of details are directly next to each other, and I know that they're at a 3/8 of an inch scale. So I'm going to go ahead and select those and go to properties. There are multiple ways to get the properties. You can select an object and type in properties. We can right click and go to properties. But you have to make sure that the viewport is selected because you're wanting to look at the properties of the viewport. And that's what the properties show. It shows for whatever you have selected. So then I want to go to scale, and I'm going to scroll down to 3/8, which is the scale of these details. I will then adjust the viewports so that they align with the edge of a boundary that I've given to these details. I'll then move the details over and center them more into the page for now. Okay. The next thing I'll do is actually control copy. I guess select the viewport and type CO and then select it and copy it over. I'll double click and activate this particular viewport and begin to scroll over to my other detail and do the same thing. This particular detail is at 1/4 of an inch, so I will scale for that. I'm going to select properties, custom, scroll down to 1/4, and then adjust my viewport. I have one more detail that I want to reference, so I'll just do the same thing by selecting this, typing in CO, and then selecting it and copying it, and then also just panning it over a little bit and adjusting the edges as well. Okay. Now for this particular sheet, I plan to only include the tree details and this ground cover detail. So I'm going to select this detail and at its midpoint and connect it to the bottom of these two, and then center them a little bit more on the page, and then scoot my other detail over because I'm going to use that for a different sheet. So the next thing I want to do is now bring in my title block. The title block is actually at a different unit, is at feet. So what I'm going to do is change the unit of this drawing so that when I bring in the title block, it comes in at the right scale. So I've changed the units to feet, and I'm going to go ahead and reference the title block by attaching it and selecting it and pressing OK. I'm going to keep it at overlay and have these unchecked because I don't want to specify either of them on screen, the scale or the insertion point, because I want the insertion point to be at 0, 0, 0. I press OK, and now the title block is in there correctly. Now that it is in there, one of the things that I want to do is actually begin to copy this page and then create another sheet. So I will right click and do select move and copy, select create a copy and press OK. So now, and when I click on layout 2, it's basically a duplicate. So I'm going to delete these details because I'm only referencing them in the other sheet. And I'm going to actually use the detail for this sheet. Another thing that I want to use are the notes here. So what I'm going to do, since the notes are actually referenced and it's not actually live in the file, I'm going to use a command called ncopy to copy them from the XREF into the file. Once I select ncopy, you see that the selected area has been highlighted. I just press enter twice, or really 3 times. Then I select it and I'm going to press Control X and cut it. And then I'm going to go into paper space, zoom out a little bit because I know the scale is going to be large, and I'm going to paste it. Now, typically for my text, I like them to be 0.125 in paper space. So I'm going to select the text and go to properties. And right where it says text height, I will make it 0.125 and press enter. I then need to zoom out and find the text selected. I just press spacebar, which will make it, which will change it to the move tool and move it above my sheet, my detail on the sheet. And then basically move the ending point of the text over so that everything actually fits within the page. And so now my text and my detail is located here. So if I go to apply preview, this is what this page looks like. Apply and then preview. And then if I close and I go to the other page, it's the same thing. I can actually delete this detail because I no longer need it. And then I can go to plot, preview. And everything is correct. The next thing I need to do is name my sheets. So I would actually right click, rename this to landscape details. And then rename this one to landscape notes. Afterwards, I would actually begin to set up my title block and add text for the sheet names, and then fill out the project title and information within the title block. But this is a method that you can use to insert your details if they're all in one file, and to create your sheets from.